For 20 years, I was the backbone of my family, emotionally, financially, and physically. My name is Brian Keller. I'm 48, and I devoted the prime of my life to making sure those I loved had everything they needed. I worked 6 days a week. As an operations manager at a logistics firm, my days started at 4:30 in the morning and rarely ended before midnight. I miss birthdays, school plays, anniversaries moments. I'll never get back home in the name of keeping the lights on, the mortgage paid, and food in the fridge. I sacrificed sleep, hobbies, dreams, everything. But I believed I was doing it for something noble. My family. I believed they loved me for it. I was wrong. My wife Naomi held a part-time job at a boutique salon. But let's be honest, she hadn't worked more than 10 hours a week since our second child was born. We had 2 children, Lena and Marcus. Wanted them to have more than I did growing up, so I said yes to everything. Yes to private schools, piano lessons, braces, field trips, and elite college prep programs. I said yes even when it meant saying no to myself. And through it all, I thought I was building something together with them. I thought they understood, appreciated, even loved me for the effort. It all began to unravel 2 weeks after my 48th birthday. I walked into work one morning and was called into a conference room. No warning, no farewell, just a short meeting. A cardboard box with my name on it and a severance package that couldn't even cover 2 months of bills. My department had been outsourced. My job was gone just like that. That night I came, home shaken but composed. I had savings and investments, and I planned to take a few months to regroup. I told Naomi. She didn't even look up from her phone. "You'll find something else," she said flatly, scrolling. No hug, no concern, no solidarity. Just a cold, empty response. Things deteriorated quickly from there. Within weeks, she started leaving job listings on the kitchen counter entry-level stuff beneath my experience. "You're not too proud to take something, are you?" she'd say, like a taunt. Lena, our 19-year-old daughter, began making comments too. "You've been home for like a month. Are you even trying?" She'd ask casually but cuttingly. But nothing stung more than what I overheard one evening while Naomi and her sister were having wine on the patio. "I can't carry him," she said. "I've carried this house emotionally for too long. If he can't be a provider, then what is he?" That word provider pierced deeper than she knew, as if I hadn't given them everything. 2 weeks later, she sat me down and said she needed space. What she meant was she had been talking to a divorce lawyer. I pleaded with her. I told her I had interviews lined up. I just needed time. She looked me straight in the eyes and said, "I didn't sign up for a life of uncertainty, Brian." That night, she moved in with her sister, taking the kids with her. No argument. Just a text. "Staying at Carlos for now. I need stability." For the kids, just like that, I went from being a father and husband to a man sitting alone in the house he built with his own hands. But what? Naomi didn't know. What nobody knew was that I had been working on something quietly for years. After a close friend passed away unexpectedly, I had realized how fragile life really was. So, I began investing in a side project logistics software that optimized delivery routes for small fleet operators. I funded it from my own savings. Hired 2 coders overseas, built a prototype, and filed for a patent. While Naomi was talking about uncertainty, I was sitting on a business that had just been acquired by a startup accelerator in Austin. 3 months after they left, I signed a deal worth $1.8 million up front, with equity worth much more in the long term. But I didn't announce it. I didn't call them. I didn't post a single word online. I watched from a distance as their lives unfolded. Naomi moved in with some guy named Dina Finance Bro, with a Tesla and gym selfies on Instagram. Lena deferred college and picked up a retail job. Marcus stopped answering my texts. I had gone from invisible to irrelevant, until I wasn't. The calls began soon after. Naomi's voice on the line. "I've been thinking. Maybe we were too hasty. We had some good years. Maybe we can talk." Lena sent a message. "Dad, I miss you. I don't care about the job stuff. Can we get lunch?" Even Marcus reached out. "Hey, moms. New boyfriend sucks. But I had learned my lesson." I replied to Lena, I'm proud of the woman you're becoming, but I won't be your emotional punching bag anymore. That role is retired. To Naomi, I said, you made your choice when I was down. Now that I've rebuilt, you're not invited to this chapter. 6 months later, I agreed to meet them for dinner. They thought it was a reconciliation. I showed up in a tailored suit and pulled up in a brand new electric Benz. Naomi's smile tightened when she saw it. We sat. She began her rehearsed speech. I've been thinking, want us to try again. For the kids, I let her finish. Then I placed a folder on the table inside, a breakdown of every major expense I had covered for the past 20 years, down to Lena's $12,000 orthodontics and Naomi's $9,800 designer furniture sets. This, I said calmly, is the man you left behind. The one you said wasn't providing. The one you abandoned when he needed you most. I'm not him anymore. I've rebuilt, not for you, but in spite of you. I'm not angry, I'm just done. Naomi's face went pale. Lena looked like she'd been slapped. I paid the bill and walked away. Calm, clean, free. Today, I run my own company, employ over 30 people, and live in a home by the lake. I still send birthday cards to the kids. If they ever truly want to rebuild something real, I'm open. But I will never again pour myself into people who only love me when I'm useful. Nearly a year passed since that betrayal. I thought I had learned my lesson, that I was wiser. But snakes don't lose their venom just because you feed them. Naomi reached out again, this time with a handwritten letter. She said she'd been to therapy, that she'd come to understand how bitterness and fear had driven her to make cruel decisions. She wasn't asking for money, just time. She wanted to earn my trust again, not as a wife, as someone who had once loved me deeply, and I believed her. She started coming to Sunday services with me. She volunteered at the shelter I supported, helped with a fundraiser for inner city youth. 6 months passed. No asks. No manipulation. Lena contacted me again, said she wanted to intern at my company. She was studying business and wanted to learn from the man she once misunderstood. Even Marcus came around. Played basketball on Saturday mornings like we used to. It felt real. Then one day Naomi came to me and said, I know we're not together, and I'm not asking for anything, but there's this nonprofit I want to launch to help women transition out of abusive relationships. I want to do something meaningful. I just need someone to co-sign the initial grant application. She wasn't asking for money, just my name, signature. She showed me documents, a mission statement, a plan, listed board members. It all looked legitimate. Against my instincts, I signed. 3 weeks later, I got a call from a former colleague. Brian, did you know your name's listed as CFO on a nonprofit being audited? Turns out Naomi never filed the nonprofit correctly. The board members were fake. The I number was invalid. And the funds at $82,000 had been siphoned into 3 personal accounts, one of them in Marcus's name. When I confronted her, Naomi didn't even flinch. You're rich. You'll bounce back. I needed help. I turned to Lena. She looked away. I asked Marcus if he knew. He said Naomi told him it was family money. They hadn't just betrayed me, used my name to commit fraud. I called my lawyer immediately, froze every account tied to me, filed a legal declaration distancing myself from the organization, handed over every message, email, and signature showing I'd been manipulated. But the damage had already begun. My partners had questions. A few clients backed out just to be safe. I cleared it up, cleared my name. But I'd learned something deeper. You can't rebuild bridges that were never made of stone. These weren't bridges. They were paper scaffolds, built only to hold weight while I remained useful. So I did what I should have done long ago. Buried the old me. I sent one group message to Naomi, Lena, and Marcus. I carried you for 20 years. I forgave you once. Gave you a second chance because I believed people can change. But you never wanted healing. You wanted access. This chapter is closed. If we ever meet again, let it be across a courtroom or in the past, where you left me. Then I blocked there. Numbers, changed my email. Sold the house they used to visit. Moved across the country and started again. A year later, Naomi tried to sue, but claimed I'd misled her into believing we were reconciling. The case was thrown out. Lena sent an apology letter. My assistant returned it, unopened. Last. I heard, started a YouTube channel to expose me. It flopped. As for me, I launched a new company focused on corporate ethics and fraud prevention. I speak at conferences now, not as a victim, but as a man who learned one of life's most brutal truths. Blood doesn't mean loyalty. Love doesn't mean trust. Forgiveness does not mean offering them a second chance to put a knife in your back. I don't hate them, but they will never stand close to me again. And if you're hearing this, take my advice. When someone betrays you twice, don't waste time asking why. Just walk away. Never look back.